Secretary, Ministry of Education, Mr. Kurt Meyer, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Dr. Peter Smith, Chief Education Officer, Mrs. Antonia Tika de Freitas, President, Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, tutor, Ms. Colleen Hayes, President, National Primary School Principals Association, Mrs. Zina Ramatali, First Vice President, National Parent Teachers Association, directors in the Ministry of Education and other MOE staff, specially invited guests, members of the media, good afternoon. Thank you for being here this afternoon. A very historic, the first of its kind in Trinidad and Tobago. But I'm not going to tell you more at this time. The privilege is mine to invite our Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Leno Batiz Simmons, to welcome you. Yes?
Can someone, remember I'm tall, please. Someone can assist, I really would appreciate. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, thank you, Chair. Dr. the Honorable Diane Gadsby-Dolly, Minister of Education, Mr. Kurt Meyer, Permanent Secretary, Dr. Peter Smith, Chief Education Officer, Mrs. Antonia Tika de Freitas, President, Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Colleen Hayes, President, National Primary School Principals Association, Mrs. Zina Ramatali, First Vice President, National Parent Teachers Association, directors and other staff of the Ministry of Education, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I proudly welcome you to the launch of the Secondary Entrance Assessment Online Results System. The introduction of this online portal represents a major milestone in the Ministry's relentless drive towards providing digital solutions and services to students, educators, and countless other stakeholders. At the heart of all of our operations is our commitment to improving the delivery of education by leveraging technology and data which equip citizens with the necessary skills and competencies to compete globally. Thus, in keeping with the government's overarching policy of digital transformation, the Ministry had made significant changes to its processes in order to be more flexible and agile service providers through the use of appropriate digital technology. I am pleased to say that the Ministry has made and continues to make significant steps towards creating and maintaining an e-learning ecosystem through which teaching and learning can be optimized. The Student Learning Management System is a flagship portal for students and teachers to access services such as a virtual classroom or a repository of educational material and activities. This portal allows for a seamless transition between physical and virtual modes of teaching. The Educational Technology Unit was established to lead the Ministry's strategic direction in this critical area and to ensure the successful deployment and sustainability of e-learning at the secondary, primary, and ECCE levels. The unit's responsibilities include assisting with the design and acquisition of education technology solutions and learning materials, teacher training, and providing synergistic support to relevant officers and divisions of the Ministry and stakeholders. The Ministry's website, moe.gov.tt, has received a refreshing facelift in that it now features a more user-friendly interface which houses several e-services for both internal and external stakeholders. In addition, updated content which supports all divisions and agencies, along with a new and improved information chatbot, are supported by the Corporate Communications Unit and the IT Unit. With respect to the SEA online results system, which we are launching today, the idea for replacing the traditional paper-based results grew out of consultations with various stakeholders. The portal is a secure web-based portal that provides parents, guardians, and students access to a digital representation of students' performance reports, which would generally refer to as SEA results. Every effort was made to conduct internal quality assurance assessments in terms of user interface, performance, and security. Participants for quality assessments range from ministry staff, principals, and teachers, and parents and guardians. Although the results will still have to be collected in person at schools, the online facility is expected to diminish the crowding and, I dare say, some of the excitement at schools on the day that SEA results are made available. Moreover, it is envisaged that it will contribute to reduced anxiety among parents and students, since the results can be first viewed in the privacy of their homes, where great emotional support can be provided if needed. I thank our ministers for their leadership and the members of staff who worked assiduously to develop this portal. I also pay tribute to our valued stakeholders who supported us every step of the way. This is an exciting day for all of us. God bless and thank you. Right? I'd like a round of applause for my team and the ministry's team who continues to launch us into the 21st century. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary Leonard Batiste-Simmons. And as the PS said, this was created by our members of our IT team right here at the Ministry of Education. Earlier I said MOE staff. I just wish to acknowledge especially our school supervisors. Some of them would have come from as far as St. Patrick, Victoria, other education districts. We appreciate that you're here. Colleen, thanks for coming. The drive from San Fernando. We appreciate you being here. You're welcome. So let's have an overview of the portal. Director of the Information and Communications Technology Division, Mr. Corey Belfond. May I invite you, sir, to give us an overview of the portal. Let's give Corey a hand.
Good afternoon, all. All protocols observed. The SEA Results Portal, being launched today, is the fulfillment of an idea within a more expansive end-to-end online student experience. We've worked hard to ensure that the Ministry of Education packages SEA results within a sleek, secure, user-friendly, future-proof, and most importantly, online platform for parents and guardians as well as students to access. This step is a continuing journey into the future that the Ministry of Education is proud to have brought to fruition at zero cost with in-house talent. And of course, I'll be brief, we've all been here, the excitement of receiving SEA results. So to pivot into the demonstration, I'll provide input as you view the video walkthrough playing on the screen. Great. So parents and guardians can use their favorite device, either iOS, Android mobile, or PC, to access via their browser searesults.moe.gov.tt. As you can see, more options are available to assist in the navigation menu. And once parents and guardians are ready, they can click login to access the process. A handy physical SEA admission slip graphic is displayed to guide parents and guardians. And of course, they will use the student number and date of birth from their child's admission slip and where a date picker will ensure that this selection is an easy process. And of course, they will verify the information and log in. And we have our first legal notice. And this provides a first-hand look at the rigorous stance at the Ministry of Education as relates to student data security and privacy. Once they select accept, they will be sent through to the two-factor authentication page. Now, this requires the admissions number on the admission slip. Once it is entered, they can select and click verify. The legal notice displayed is another verification step that seeks to confirm that the individual that is accessing the portal is the legal parent or guardian of the student. And of course, the dashboard is displayed with a prominent link to the SCA information booklet. Results can be accessed by clicking the results button on the dashboard or via the navigation menu on the left. Once selected, a final legal notification will pop up. This details that the online SCA results are for viewing purposes only. Parents and guardians, as well as the student, will still need to go to the school to collect a physical SCA result slip. Private candidates will collect their results from their nearest education district office. Results are to be kept safe as it is required for registration at the secondary school assigned. And of course, as you would have seen, they would have been able to view the comprehensive breakdown of the results along with the secondary school assigned. To end, the SCA results portal has been thoroughly reviewed, tested and accepted by parents, education sector stakeholders, as well as the Trinidad and Tobago Cybersecurity Incident Response Team, or CSIRT, and they are under the Ministry of National Security. I would like to thank the Honorable Ministers of Education for their energetic leadership, the executive team for their support, as well as the ICT Division Software Development Team, led by our head developer, Adam Mahabir, for their tireless efforts in bringing this incredible idea to life. As we step into the future, Access will define the futuristic education experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Corey Belfon, Director, Information and Communications Technology Division, Ministry of Education. SCA-related matters in the Ministry of Education, among other responsibilities, they come under the Division of Educational Research and Evaluation. The Director of that unit, Mr. Mervyn Sambucharan, is here today. Mervyn, the privilege is mine to introduce you, sir, to bring us remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. The Honorable Nayan Gatsby-Dolly, Minister of Education, Mrs. Leno Batiste Simmons, Permanent Secretary, Dr. Peter Smith, Chief Education Officer, Mrs. Antonia Teca de Freitas, President, Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Carleen Haynes, President of the National Primary Schools Principals Association, Mrs. Zina Ramatali, First Vice President, National Parents Teachers Association, directors in the Ministry of Education, or the heads of divisions, esteemed stakeholders in education in the viewing and listening audience, members of the media, a pleasant good afternoon. Today's launch of the SCA Results Portal is indeed another milestone achieved by the Ministry of Education with a focus on bringing as much of its services closer and in a timely manner to all its valued stakeholders. It is therefore a significant initiative, embracing available technologies, and as the last 2 years would have taught us, in charting a new course of how we educated our students throughout this pandemic, the Ministry of Education could not have afforded to lose any opportunity in developing further means of providing information in this online space. Currently, it takes well over 2,000 man-hours to conduct the SCA placement exercise for the approximately 19,000 students annually. Almost 360 of those hours are dedicated to the printing and the packaging of those individual students' results. And that is only at the ministry's end, while similar efforts are also placed at the education district offices and at schools to ensure that each candidate receive their result. This innovative SCA portal, as demonstrated by Mr. Belfour, is not only expected to save the ministry valuable time and resources, but also allow for a speedy delivery of the SCA results in a very secure and confidential manner. 2022 marks the last year a physical copy of the SCA results will be sent to students, as our portal in its further development will allow for direct downloads at the end user, the students or parents. Appreciating the level of anxiety that comes with the collection of any examination results, especially the SCA, something we have grown accustomed far too long in terms of our students who will now have to do so in a private way that allows them to treat internally with what is before them, without having to deal with the pressures of wandering onlookers and being able to keep emotions in check while at their school and in the company of their peers, something principals, parents can truly appreciate. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to caution that while the SCA portal affords access wherever you may be in the world, and there will be the desire to showcase these results in this new and innovative way, the student's credential, as located on the SCA admission slip, used for accessing the SCA results, must be guarded, and careful consideration must be given to the sharing of such credentials among the wider family circle. It is always a time to celebrate and to share these results. So I would like to advise all parents to understand the sensitive nature of the information. I don't think we go about sharing our bank pins and all those nice pieces of information which tells us a host of things with any persons outside of who are privileged to have that information. Just as one would be careful with other sensitive documents of a personal nature, I trust the same attention would be applied here by parents and students, that responsibility remains with them. Additionally, I employ all parents, guardians, principals, and teachers to have a thorough read-through of the associated SCA information booklet. And that booklet was about 3 years ago placed on our ministry's website in a virtual space. So we started that initiative of moving to all online deliverables. It provides valuable information into frequently asked questions, and we hope that persons make full use of that information booklet. I do hope the experience of having a first-hand view of the SCA results through the portal will be a rewarding one for all our candidates who sat SCA 22. And again, I would like to personally congratulate our Minister of Education for her intervention and always being able to task the Ministry of Education staff and extended family to do better than we have done. Madam Minister, I thank you for that. So I do hope the experience would be a good one for all our stakeholders. And I would like to extend my own congratulations to our homegrown team that worked on this SCA portal for all their hard work and continued hard work under the stewardship of Mr. Belfour. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mervyn Sambucharan, Director, Division of Educational Research and Evaluation. The SCA online portal forms part of the Ministry's digital transformation initiative, that bigger picture. Earlier, the Permanent Secretary thanked the team. Any team needs a good leader, a strong leader, a leader that is focused, a leader that has vision. Am I correct? The pleasure is mine to present to you Dr. the Honorable Nian Gaspidoli, Minister of Education, to bring us the feature address. Honorable Minister.
Thank you kindly, Chairperson. I will mention in her absence, she couldn't be here with us today, but my co-worker in the struggle, the Honorable Lisa Morris-Julian, Minister in the Ministry of Education, Mrs. Leno Batiste-Simmons, Permanent Secretary, Mr. Kurt Meyer, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Dr. Peter Smith, Chief Education Officer, and Mervyn Sambucharan, the Director of DERE, Mr. Corey Belfon, Director of ICT. Mrs. Antonia Taker de Freitas, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Carleen Hayes, President of the National Primary School Principals Association, Mrs. Zina Ramatali, First Vice President of the National Parent Teachers Association, other staff of the Ministry of Education, I see our Director of School Supervision here, specially invited guests, members of the media, good afternoon, and it is indeed a pleasure to have you here to launch this SCA online portal. Allow me to also make special mentions of our supervisors who came to be with us this afternoon. I'm glad you all accepted the invitation to be present here at the launch, because this is a digital first for us in Trinidad and Tobago, and let me take the opportunity to thank our ICT department, our DERE, as well as our stakeholders who participated in troubleshooting, taking a look, testing this system to ensure that it is what it should be and it provides the experience that it should for our parents, for our students, for our teachers, and for the education system as a whole. COVID-19 has accelerated the process of digital transformation within the Ministry of Education, and this portal is yet another initiative, another step along the pathway. We are working hand in hand with the Ministry of Digital Transformation, and allow me to thank their staff as well, because they were also involved in the process of troubleshooting, checking, and working with us to ensure that everything is in place for our system to work as it should. And we have adopted a whole-of-government approach to this digital transformation, and therefore the cooperation of all arms of the government are important as we proceed. Our digital transformation program outlines the strategies, objectives, and outputs required to realign our services to meet a more dynamic and sophisticated client, and we strategize how it prepares students for the world of tomorrow. Simply speaking, more is expected of the Ministry of Education at this time. During the COVID-19 experience, we were expected to transform and transform quickly. And now that we have been in this experience for going on 3 years, there are certain things that are expected of our operations, and therefore we must adjust. And a part of that adjustment, allow me to formally recognize our Director of Educational Technology, our newest director at the Ministry of Education, in our newest unit, and that unit is critical to our digital transformation agenda, because this is something new to the Ministry of Education, and therefore there needs to be dedicated personnel to this agenda. And of course, one of their main items for operationalization now would be our school learning management system, and they are working assiduously on that to assure that we have that digital ecosystem for our teachers to build in the resilience that is required in our education system at this time. Having experienced COVID-19 and what that brought, we can no longer assume that there will always be access to physical classes. We don't know that for sure, and therefore that resilience is required so that whether we are online or whether we are physical, educational continuity is maintained, and therefore that is the role the main role of our Educational Technology Unit, and we have great hopes for them, and we are working together. They work closely with the ICT department and with every other department to ensure that our teachers' virtual classrooms are set up so that our students can have access to information regardless of where they are. And another part of that school learning management system, of course, would be the thrust to getting students accustomed to e-testing, because that is the direction in which CXC is moving, and therefore we in Trinidad and Tobago must ensure our students are adequately prepared, that this is a normal thing for them. And so as a part of that is being able to, with facility, move into the online environment, do online testing, make sure that their digital skills are up to mark as we prepare them for the world that they will have to exist in, which is quite different from the world that maybe all of us sitting here would have been accustomed to. A part of that digital transformation also extends to the way we deal with our staff files or human resource files at the Ministry of Education. And the IRIS project is another one that we are working assiduously on. It is something that is very critical for us in the way we deal with all of our staff. The Ministry of Education has over 12,000 teachers, if we just want to isolate. And I'm sure President De Freitas, Steker De Freitas, is happy to know that we are working on that as well to ensure that the benefits that are due to our teachers are implemented in a timely fashion, and that can only happen if we do things differently. So we can't sit and do the same things and expect that we'll have improvements. We have to do it differently. And no, it is not always easy. Yes, it is challenging. However, this is what we are called to do at this time, not just for the Ministry of Education, but for our country. So the staff of the ministry is engaged in not just doing what is to be done now, but also in looking forward to what has to be done, how it must be done, and therefore how we must progress. A part of that also is our school management system, our student management system, that aims to get the data for all of our students online. Why is this important? It's important because if we have to give the type of reports that are expected of us, then we have to be able to collect information and keep records in a digital format. That is critical. And that comes with a lot of different implications for the data recording staff at the schools to ensure that we have persons to input that data. That is a part of what we are doing now, because along with the student learning system must come that input of data and the digital record keeping. So attendance must be digital. When we had no physical classes, we were forced to take it digitally, and therefore we have to now develop, outside of the emergency systems, we must develop systems that are embedded into the educational sector that allow for this digital record keeping, because it allows us to be able to observe different trends, see different patterns, run reports very easily to obtain the information that is necessary in this time. So our digital transformation agenda is very rich, very robust, very ambitious, and I want to thank the staff for accepting the challenge and for moving along with what really is a very challenging work agenda. But it is what we must do. It is how we must carry our country forward. And I also want to thank our stakeholders who, through their passion, through their interest, and through their recommendations, help us to move along in this challenging time. I want to really thank our stakeholders for that. At every stakeholder meeting, they are represented, they are vocal, and they are specific, and they are focused on their different areas, and that helps us in the holistic picture to really do the work that is required at this time. So as I close, I want to thank the staff of the ministry. I want to thank the PSS for their drive in managing the staff, our CEO for his overall management. I want to thank specifically the staff of the IT, as well as the DERE and our EdTech unit, who are the main ones driving this agenda forward, and also our communication staff that are playing a great role in ensuring that the information coming from the Ministry of Education is clear, is specific, is focused, and that it can really edify our public so that we have a better relationship in terms of how we deal with our publics. And that is very, very important to us at the Ministry of Education. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to those who have made it possible, and we look forward to this being just one of the initiatives that change the education landscape in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Clear, specific, focus. See what I tell you? Leadership. So, as indicated by the Honorable Minister, this is only one of the many initiatives under the Digital Transformation Initiative, all in the interest of improving education. And as Minister said, we thank our stakeholders for collaborating with us on these and other projects. Ladies and gentlemen, final item of the program, may I invite our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Peter Smith, to say thanks. Dr. Smith?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. All protocols are observed. It is with great pleasure that I stand here today to deliver the vote of thanks for this most auspicious occasion as the Ministry of Education continues to transform. I would like to thank the MOE Executive, the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly, in the absence also the Honorable Lisa Morris-Julian, P.S. Batiste Simmons, P.S. Meyer, and if perhaps you may permit me to really double that thank to P.S. Meyer, who has really been a driving force in ensuring that the ministry goes into that digital age. We are there, P.S. We are getting there at this point in time. We would also like to thank the ICTD department, Mr. Corey Belfort, for leading that initiative, and special thanks also to Mr. Adam Mahabir, the developer, who was intimately involved. Of course, the Division of Educational Research and Evaluation, and under its director, Mr. Mervyn Sambucharan, who was instrumentally involved also. We would also like to thank those who would have taken that time today to be here with us. Mrs. Antonia Tika de Freitas, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Ms. Colleen Haynes, National Primary School Principals Association, Mrs. Zina Ramatali, First Vice President, National Parent Teachers Association. Thank you for your presence. We would also like to thank our other stakeholders, school supervisors, teachers, parents, the THA, under the Division of Education, Research and Technology, of course, our Corporate Communications Unit, and you, the media, for being here. Let me just say, this is simply the start of great things as the MOE continues in its trust as we move more and more into the digital age. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Peter Smith, our Chief Education Officer. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure. Thanks again for coming. God bless you. Have a great afternoon. Be safe.